Welcome back to Games Revealed. I'm James and also Brink, and we are one community. Today, I want to talk about something that has just, I saw a glance of it in an email, and it's from AYANEO. And I gotta say, I have never been so intrigued to find out more about a product in years since the Steam Deck was announced. And this product is an eGPU. I'm excited about eGPUs, but they cost money, and not everything's compatible with like Steam Decks and all that. But this one is so intriguing for me. I just had to make a video on this, and I had to talk about it because I really, really like where AYANEO is going with this new product lineup that I'm going to talk about in a live stream that you can either catch before or after this video. If it's already gone, you can still watch that video. And even you might be able to hear Loki barking. He's so excited. My dog, the little potato corgi master, really wants one of these too. But it's the AYANEO Starship graphics dock AG01. It's got to have that AG01 in it because it is a space age piece of tech. It's not, but it's fun to pretend and kind of get into this themed world of eGPUs because some eGPUs, let's be honest, a lot of eGPUs, maybe most eGPUs, are boring, but this one is not. This one itches that scratch that I have for space aged slash things that look like spacecrafts or sci-fi. Brings into our minds like what the future could hold, right? And so what and the thing is, I'm going to be talking mostly about cosmetics here. We'll talk about what kind of GPUs in this thing, but for the most part, this is a cosmetic kind of device. And as we get further and further, I think, into the future, I think it's going to have to start going this way, especially with eGPUs where they're portable and all. And this one is cool. It looks like you're packing around actual space age stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm hyping it up too much. Maybe my weirdly creepy fascination for sci-fi, horror, and all that stuff is caught up with me. And this is a lot of marketing jargon, so take that with a grain of salt, I guess, but it got me, it hooked me. Sometimes marketing works, sometimes marketing doesn't work again on me, and I've got to tell you, they got me. So it's a new interpretation on sci-fi romance is what they say, with a unique starship design. And I have to admit, like from their photos, it looks pretty badass. It has the ability for a custom nameplate, personalized elements integrated. There's a little section that allows you to put a little nameplate on it, and it has a little round ring that has a light that will be, I believe it's going to be changeable. So an RGB light ring, which enhances it. And, you know, this is them, enhanced dynamic power. I have a feeling that there's going to be multiple ways to determine how this is going to look. I bet you there's going to be one, depending on how the drivers are. I don't know how AYANEO drivers are in the past, but like this has the potential to be a ring that will be blue maybe when it first starts out. And if you really are intense and the fan spins up, a lot of power going to it, it will indicate how much power is being used, maybe watts or actual just like how hard the GPU is working. Power is probably a good way to determine this. Maybe you're going to be able to make it flash, all that, but man, it just, if they could have this thing running without it being plugged in with the little red, I know it's silly, it's cheesy, but for me, aesthetics aren't necessarily everything, but you slap on space stuff and like I become a little child again. And I think carrying around one of these, it looks silly, but I'd feel like a badass. And having it light up would just make it feel like, oh wow, that hasn't even plugged it in yet, and it looks so powerful. Not that power is everything, but in this case, it is. And in the cosmetic way, not in the actual what the GPU can do. So high-end, they claim high-end craftsmanship, metal body, so with superior texture. So, and that's important to me, meaning I'm looking at this does look like it's high enough quality. It makes me a little concerned how much it's going to cost, but I am very excited to see what this device can do from a like hold up and all that, carrying around, moving it around and all. If it holds up well enough, then I'm all for this type of design. And I think a metal body could get hot, but it will be great for dispersing heat. So while you're running this, you might not want to touch it, but it should help with some of the heat demands that an eGPU can have. It's also got, I believe it's got an intake, and then it has a big outtake for the fans to output of the back of it for sustain. They claim sustained high energy output. And then it has a lot of extras. So it's not just an eGPU, it's an eGPU dock. So it's got the tool-free SSD expansion. So underneath it, you can add an SSD to it. And then the back ports or the ports on it are 2 display ports, 2.0 versions, HDMI 2.1, an Oculink, a USB 4, and then it has a DC in. So you're gonna have to have an AC outlet nearby or whatever. I don't know what the wattage is, like the actual consumption on this. Like maybe you could have a really big battery if you go out camping or something like that. One of those big battery banks to plug this in, and your Steam Deck's not going to work for this. But our AYANEO device, I'm assuming this might work with the Asus. Well, no, they've disabled on the Asus one, maybe. So the Legion Go. So that's kind of a shame, and honestly, it's kind of a hit against Asus not allowing other eGPUs to hook in, because I believe they disabled the USB 4. So they made it so it wasn't really compatible with other eGPUs, which honestly, now that this is coming out, big miss for them. I might start recommending more AYANEO devices. I did say this in the past. I think AYANEO is onto something out of all the companies that are more foreign in the sense of like who they cater to. They've been in the game for a while. I know that they have some, I could speculate all day, but I do know that this device alone is very interesting, and I like companies that try to be innovative. Even if it is cosmetically innovative, that's still an innovation for me. Now, going back into the ports, it also has an Ethernet port, and then it has one USB 3.2 Gen 2 port. So AYANEO AG01 will be the most versatile and feature-rich eGPU dock on the market, equipped with a wide range of high-speed interfaces and what we just talked about. And then it's going to also include a tools-free expansion for the M.2 2280 SSD slot, like we talked about. And then the specs on this thing are, it's the RX. Hold on, Loki is super excited. He wants to fetch. He's got anxiety. Okay, go fetch that. So it's an AMD Radeon RX 6700M XT. It's the RND3 architecture. It's got 8 gigs of GDDR6 RAM, which this is the VRAM. So it's not bad. For how this all pairs, this isn't a bad eGPU. It's definitely going to bump up your performance on Legion Go or anything else that the dock supports Oculink or USB 4 interfaces for superior gaming visuals and product. You're going to get more out of that Oculink, and I believe AYANEOs do support Oculink, and some of the other device makers support it. It's not as common of one, but it's becoming more common, and I think it's a great way to do these eGPUs is through Oculinks. I believe Asus uses some form of an Oculink. It's just their own proprietary brand for the ROG Ally, for their own eGPU dock. This is very on par with a lot of the stuff we see so far. I don't think it's going to be any faster or whatever. It's just going to look better, and the ports are there. That being said, I do wish there was more USB ports on this thing. It looks like it's got mostly just GPU, but it's got the USB 3.2, which is the old school USB style. And then the USB 4 is output or input. It can be versatile, meaning if you're using Oculink, you can use the USB 4 outlet. With that, there is an interstellar gray, and then there's a nebula red version of this. And I will have to say that I have a red cap on right now. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of red, but man, when it's in sci-fi, it looks so slick. And right here, it has like this old school feel to what a ship should be and how it might be in the future. I love it. Makes me think of maybe Space Mountain or Disney, or I just got back from doing Disneyland with my kids, and so this is really like, I don't know, feeling that it's fueling that love of nostalgia mixed in with the sci-fi that I love so much. So that is pretty much all I have to say on this device. I definitely think it's going to be something that I'm going to keep an eye out for. I honestly, there's a good chance I might pick it up later this year, just because as a cosmetic piece. I know that sounds super stupid, maybe silly. I wouldn't say stupid. I never said that, but silly. I don't normally do this, but I have been wanting an eGPU for a very long time to test portable devices with and all that. So I'm really curious in this one. This has definitely got me really wanting to get an eGPU again. And I've seen some cool stuff like from 1xPlayer and some other companies, but I've just never, like, if you're going to make an eGPU, make it aesthetically pleasing, something that I can go to a cafe, take it out, feel semi-embarrassed, but secretly in my mind, I'm a badass. And I slap that thing down and I can start gaming or video. Honestly, this might make it easier for me to also do some video game development on the go. So when I go and visit and all that, I can strap one of these with me and then borrow the TV in the hotel room or at my parents' place and maybe program off of that thing. So I don't know. I have my standard stuff I work off of, but I'm always willing to adventure out on some of my other stuff like game development and all that. So super excited about this. I'm curious what you guys have to think. Let me know in the comments below. Is this something that you'd want to see on your desk, want to see on the go? Is this something that intrigues you? Because eGPUs, I think, are going to become more and more popular as portable gaming becomes more and more popular and more people are just kind of replacing maybe their laptops and all that with this, especially people that mostly game are replacing like Steam Decks and all that. Now the Steam Deck's not going to support this. Hopefully Steam Deck 2 will. Or hopefully they're going to work on that, but they just don't have any interfaces. Like they don't have USB 4 and they don't have an Oculink. So the Steam Deck is just kind of not going to be capable of doing this yet. Once again, another reason to upgrade. It's not purely for performance. I think the Steam Deck is behind on a lot of things, and the docking, their USB and their essentially port capabilities are very lacking. So that's all I have to say on this. Thank you guys for watching. Check out my other videos, and I want to hear you guys. I want to hear what you guys think about this because I'm nerding out on it. I want someone to confirm and nerd out with me on this so I'm not feeling crazy. So also check out those goodies below. Peace out. Later.